Good morning, Minnesota Vikings fans. Dalvin Cook has informed the media that he will be holding out for an extension with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I think a lot of Vikings fans seen this one coming. There's no way that they could keep Anthony Harris and Dalvin Cook with an extension. Harris is on the franchise tag right now, and they had been in talks with extensions for Dalvin and Harris, but talks must have gone sour or gone south because Dalvin is now holding out. In this situation, I think that I can understand both parties because the Vikings, obviously, they drafted Dalvin Cook in the second round, number 41 overall. I think 3-4 years ago, he had a really good rookie season but got injured. That's kind of been the story of his whole career. Dalvin has been an electric, in my opinion, top 3 running back. Resembles a lot of his game with a Christian McCaffrey. He can catch the ball, he can run routes. However, between the tackles too, he's an exceptional runner. But the injuries have been a problem for him. The best trait a running back can have is being available for 16 games, and he unfortunately hasn't been able to show that. I don't think he's played a full season yet. Last year by far was his last year, and from the Vikings standpoint, you know, they probably do want to keep Dalvin. There's no way they do not want to keep Dalvin Cook. But the injury concern, I'm sure, is being leveraged in extension talks. And let's not forget either, he also has a year left on his deal. So if he chooses not to play, he was a second-round pick. He really hasn't seen any big money yet. He probably does not want to hold out the whole season. Now, I was watching the Pat McAfee show on this, and they have a great little episode on this about Dalvin Cook. Here are the running backs that are scheduled to be free agents next year if Dalvin chooses to just play on his rookie deal and go into free agency. Are you ready? Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, Leonard Fournette, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Kenyon Drake, Todd Gurley, James Conner, Damian Williams, Kareem Hunt, Tariq Cohen, Marlon Mack, Chris Carson, Jamal Williams, and Matt Breida. So it's pretty clear that Dalvin and his agent understand, hey, if we do wait to get money, we're going to probably get a lot less next year than what he could get this year if they work out an extension. Because we all know running back isn't, the 80s. Running backs are kind of, they're hesitantly being picked in the first round anymore, and people really don't want to give them big deals, especially the Vikings, because they just gave another big deal to Kirk Cousins, even though percentage of the cap wise it's probably better than his first deal with the Vikings. But it's clear Dalvin and his camp want their money now because they know that they'll probably be able to get more this year than waiting a year. One thing that I think is obviously shaking up the contract talks for any running back is Christian McCaffrey's deal has given the Vikings less and less leverage. Christian McCaffrey, as we all know, this offseason signed a $16 million a year extension. Buku money for a running back. And in my opinion, I think Dalvin Cook is right up there with Christian McCaffrey. So him and his agent, for sure, a starting point for negotiations has to be close to that mark, and the Vikings are up against it with the cap. They simply cannot match that at this point. So I understand Dalvin, he definitely wants his money. There's going to be a lot of free agent competition next season, so he cannot wait. Another thing, if I'm Dalvin Cook personally, I know, hey, I recognize that I've had injuries as well, and I don't want to get injured in the last year of my deal, and then now I might have just cut my money in a third if I get another serious injury. And for the Vikings standpoint, though, they're clearly in win-now mode. General Manager Rick Spielman and head coach Mike Zimmer are still on one-year deals. So this is very much a win-now situation for the GM and head coach. So if I were them, thinking in the short term, they've got to bring back Dalvin Cook. They have to work something out because we all saw it last season when the Vikings did not have him, it was not the same. Alexander Mattison, he's a good running back. Mike Boone is an under-the-radar running back, but neither of those guys, even in tandem, are going to produce the same results that Dalvin Cook did. Dalvin was able to cover up a lot of junk because he was such a special runner, so good after contact, so good at breaking tackles, very elusive, but he also has power. He could run people over in the open space. He's just a special player. And even though this isn't the 80s, I think the Vikings offense lives and dies by a good running back. And that's Dalvin Cook. And if he's not there, there's no way the Vikings go far in the playoffs, maybe not even make the playoffs, because then you're going to have to rely on Kirk Cousins, which he has shown improvements. And we got to remember, too, Stephon Diggs is no longer with the Vikings. And we did address those things in the draft, but Justin Jefferson is not a for sure thing. And if anything, what if he has a slow first year and we don't have Dalvin Cook? The Vikings are not making the playoffs, and if they do, they will not get far. So I understand both sides, but I think the Vikings need to maybe overpay, even with the risk taken into account, if they want to win games. With that, guys, what do you guys think about Dalvin Cook's situation? I think that, if I was Dalvin, I'd probably do the same thing, and I really think that they'll work out a deal here in the future, in the near future. I don't see him missing any games at this point, but I think that he's just using it as leverage to get some more money, because there's a lot of risk if he doesn't get any money, and for the Vikings, there's a heck of a lot more risk because they are not winning near as many games without number 33. That's all I got for you today, guys. Let me know your comments below, and I'll catch you next time.